Teams. That was the Twitch thing that went out. Are you on a team? Is anyone here that's still hanging out in chat? Like, how many of you guys are not on a team? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you're not on a team. We're going to kind of walk through and discuss what the purpose of a team is, what the importance of a team is. In all honesty, the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of team things going on, new teams coming out, teams changing places, trading players. There's just a lot of been going around about it. And it's also, for me, like one of the most common questions I get in my coaching sessions. It is always about like, hey, how do I start a team? How do I get people around me to be a part of a team? How do I get on a team? So it's really important for me to like understand what is even the purpose of the team. So a couple reasons why I think teams are important. And for me, the first one was a support system. Teammates and coaches, they provide emotional and mental support, helping you push through tough times. Let's be honest, guys, you don't win every tournament. You don't place in every tournament. You don't day two every tournament. For me, you don't do any of them. I mean, I don't know. You haven't done anything in like a year and a half or something at this point.
That's why I don't play them. Does this shirt say Meta Report?
It does.
I'm gonna have to stop wearing this one.
February of 2024. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's like a whole year ago, literally. But like I'll never forget Vegas. Not Vegas. Was it? No, it was Vegas. Yeah, so it was in Vegas. I'm playing in this bubble match in round 9, and we end up splitting. So neither of us is going to make day 2. And it was like a real big letdown for me because I kind of went on a run that day. Like I started the day was pretty poor, and then I went like 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and I really put myself in a position to make day 2. And when I didn't get there, I do my very best. I know Dick is going to disagree with me, but I do my very best to try and be nice, try and be humble, try and be friendly and approachable. And I knew after I lost that game that I could not be. Like I was not in a headspace. I was not in a position. And I literally walked out the door, like walked out from the tables, and someone said something to me. And I just ignored them because I'm like, I can't have this conversation right now. And Nunez walked over to me and he said, Dan, do you need to get out of here? And I said, yes. And he just walked me out of the room. He was kind of like a leading blocker, in the NFL, just blocking shady, No, I'm not shady, guys. That's not true. We get there and we're just talking about it. We're just talking through, we're talking it down. And it's that support system that was like, it gave me the ability to go back in that room and say goodbye to people. Because it was late. It was 10, whatever time it was, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, however long these games go. But that was a day that I put a lot of weight on my shoulders. I was like, this was an event that I wanted to day 2. I put all the work into doing it, and I fell short. I finished in the top 128, which is like whatever, but it was still not what I wanted to do. And that's an easy example. Like there are days where you show up, you go 0-2 drop in a tournament. You're like, what do I do? Like this sucks. Like I suck. Like what am I supposed to do? If you're Dick Burns, you just like get on the commentary table, I guess. But when
you're super famous and everyone loves you, opportunities just arise.
It's just, to me, number one important thing is just to have someone to talk to, on those days that they don't go your way. It's important to have people, I say all the time, I'm a hugger. So like, if I got to hug someone on the team because it didn't go their way, then that's my job in that moment, and it goes well beyond the game sometimes. A lot of that is mental. A lot of that is mind state. A lot of that is just like, someone to vent to, like at some point, I've said this a million times now. It's been a year ago. Everyone that's on the team, the Forbidden Mountain, they weren't a year ago, like I have made what I believe to be lifelong friends in the last year because of Disney Lorcana. So when you have that type of support system in a year, I mean, like that is something you take with you, and that is like kind of what a team and building is from that support system. Anyone, either of you want to add on to that anyway?
I mean, I think about moments that matter. So like, Stefan and I, we've been to a few DLCs together. We have our buddies with us, like Monty and Eddie, and we got if I sat here and named everybody who's been to them, it'd be insane. Freddie, I couldn't. So like, just so you all know, there's currently a house with full of Illuminati members that are currently testing Set 7 watching this. So I love all of you. So I do want to say that first and foremost. However, so Stefan was having a rough run at one of these things at a DLC, and it was you could just tell it was like weighing on him. And like one of the most heartfelt moments that kind of like picked them up. The team got together. They were able to pull together their tickets that they weren't using, and they were able to get him a Cinderella mat. So that was, you know, like these kind of moments to kind of get together and to say, hey, look, like this does not define, like you had a bad day, but this does not define you. Like those moments that you can do that for somebody is so important. Like outside of a team or within a team, and obviously in a team, there's a little bit more structure in doing that. So if you can have a support system of people who can just prop you up, I mean, it's so important, especially in a competitive game like this.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best parts of having the team is like I always have someone take photos of me with fans. Like I don't have to hold the camera myself. You know, people always have cards on them that I can sign. I don't have to carry them in my book bag, stuff like that. But no, in all actuality,
make me hand you these ink tokens every single event.
Yeah. Well, people don't want them from you.
Now you guys know what I've been playing with the whole day.
But it's funny, like me and Willoughby's was talking about this last night, and I started crying because, like, you know, she's not even on the Forbidden Mountain, and she was talking about how me and her had just met like only 3 or 4 weeks before I met Dan, right? And like how crazy it is, how close you become to these people, and like how they keep you going in so many different aspects of life, not just in trading card games. So yeah, it's been instrumental in mental health, in everything.
Yeah.
Number 2, accountability and motivation. Playtesting with a team encourages discipline and consistency. It's easier to stay committed when others rely on you. You know, how many times you have like a work project and you're just like you procrastinate. Like you're just like, oh, I'll get it done Friday night. Like, oh, I'll get it done Saturday morning. Oh, I'll get it Sunday. All right, Sunday night. Shit, I got to get it done. Right. When you're asked to do something, you know, and you're a part of that core, that it's like, hey, I'm relying on your information. Like I'm relying on your part of this project. You got to get it done. It's a lot easier to do that when you have people consistently, you know, saying like, guys, we need this information. We want to win 10 cases in Miami. You know, like somebody wants to come out and win this tournament, and the only way we're going to do that is if we get the project done. I think it's huge. I also think it's a huge level up moment. You know, like It's one of those worlds where you might be thinking you're fine. You might be thinking like, oh, I'm doing good. I've been being successful. I won some set championships. I date you to DLC. I'm not on a team. Like I'm making it all work. But the difference is that if you can do that by yourself, can you only begin to imagine what you could do with people that want the same thing as you? Like those goals that you have, that you share with these other people, they only make you better. You know, so in those types of worlds where you have that opportunity and you have players around you that, even if it's just like 2 or 3 people, that's still more than one. Like 2 or 3 people talking, having a conversation, you get a lot further. It's one of those things where if you want to go somewhere fast, do it by yourself. If you want to go on a journey, you do it with a group. And that's exactly what I look at this, is that when you take on that responsibility of being a part of a team, you take on the responsibility of being accountable. And with that, you also get people that are accountable, you know? So,
yeah. There's another layer to this. I haven't seen your whole presentation, so I hope I'm not blowing up your spot here. But there's another part of the accountability and that aspect of it, and that's just like the amount of data that you get, because data is so important in testing. So being able to, like people meme that I have the largest team of any team ever that's ever existed in history, and I do. But ultimately, what I have is like a strong group of people that 2 people can tackle one deck. And like we get as much data as we can possibly get on that deck. It's better than one person doing it. So there's data to be had too, and I think that's important.
By the way, Sebastian is definitely bigger than you.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. Good. I was worried about that for a second.
No one knows them. You know, they're like right above Freedom Gaming, but
they're
like at least 150 deep. Like however many Pokemon there are, they just keep adding them.
Okay. And it's like that alphabet Pokemon that there's just so many of them. Like you can't even tell. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Unknowns.
For sure.
Unknowns. They're like unknowns.
Especially because they all look the same in their jerseys.
Shout out to Josh though. He's great. Skill development. Playtesting with others allows you to learn new techniques. It gives you constructive feedback and improves faster. Again, like when you don't have anyone to literally tell you what you're doing wrong, you can't get better. And you can be your own critic, right? Like you can be your own critic. I tell people all the time, like if you have the opportunity to record yourself playing games and then you actually have the willpower to sit and watch them and take your notebook out and you write stuff down, you're like, yep, I messed that up. Like that's really hard to do for most people. You know, it's not easy. But I also think about what's funny. You know, we've talked about this before about like poker players. Poker players will study film. Like it's something that they do all the time. And sometimes they'll study their own play. They'll make sure like, hey, am I giving away ticks? I'm like, there's all these different things. But in this like action, like when we play games, I guess this will be a fun one. You remember DLC Chicago, Dick? And we were playtesting in the room, and I like yelled at Scott.
Well,
like,
you yell at everyone.
Okay, but like he did something so stupid, and I was so annoyed because I'm like, bro, we're sitting here testing for a DLC. You can't make this mistake tomorrow. Like this will literally cost you a game. And like I actually like literally yelled at him. Like I know he was upset with me because of how actual vocal I was about it. But that's how I felt in that moment. And I felt like if I don't call you out on this in this manner, you're gonna fuck this up tomorrow. You know, like language, my bad. Like that's the point though, is like that's what I'm like, dude, like you can't make this mistake. You just can't do this. I'm gonna do that for every game I'm gonna play with someone, you know? And especially in a world where we're testing for a DLC the next day. Like it might be different. We're at locals. I'm not really paying attention at my highest level. But even that, having the conversations with players that you respect, it only will ever make you better. And anyone, like this is like first line of defense here, guys. Get some thicker skin if you can't handle it, because you're never going to get better at Lorcana if you don't take feedback.
Yeah,
100% true.
If I get any thicker, I'm not going to be able to walk out of that. Also, you know, I say it a lot. Zach Bivens plays with himself all the time. All right. But he's the exception. Right?
Could you say that any better? Or you want to repeat that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we were talking about this a little bit, but there's definitely people on the team that like have probably been slingshotted so far ahead from anyone who would just normally pick up a game.
I got to shout out just for the Wolfpack comment alone.
Yeah, 100%.
That's an OG. That's an OG throwback Wolfpack comment. Love it.
But yeah, there's definitely people that I think have been slingshotted way past like the normal amount that someone like gets good at a trading card game.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is throw your deck at them.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
It's one of the like I don't. You know,
I'm not a yeller. I'm a deck thrower.
I'm a yeller for sure. I'm a yeller. I get emotional. 100%. I get emotional. You can tell it even in these. Like I get emotional. But you know, huge credit to Melissa and Ben. You know, in all honesty, like they're talking about two players that are virtually, you know, brand new to card games. You know, these are Disney fans that came to play a card game, and a month ago they were in a top 8 of a tournament with literally world-class players, like world-invited players. They both were able to do that, and we're talking about a year here. You know, Melissa joined the team in April. Ben joined the team in May, June, whatever it was. Like these two players were able to go from just being Disney fans to competing against some of the best card players that we know.
Yeah. And not only that, but I think what's really so, you know, a lot of people think that what testing is to just slam your deck into other decks and to play multiple games. And if you go to locals, if you play online with other people that you don't have that level of comfort with, all you're essentially doing is playing games. And to a degree, sure, that is practicing to a degree. But when I think about practicing, what I think about is like open hand practicing, and you can't do that when you're playing at a locals. I think about, hey, you grab the best 7 cards in your deck right now. Let's forget about the mulligan. You get the best 7 cards. I get the best 7 cards. Let's see how we play out those lines. Okay, next game, you grab the worst 7 cards in your deck. I'll grab the worst 7 cards in my deck, and then we'll play that through. And so like that's really where the skill development happens. And when you just go to locals, that's not like you're practicing play lines as they come up, but it's not as efficient. Yeah. And you can do that with a playtest group. You can do that with friends that you are so connected with that you don't mind having that conversation with. Yeah. So I think that's like that, when you talk about skill development, that's part of it too.
Healthy competition, friendly rivalry with teammates can push you to reach new levels of performance. I used to think once upon a time there was a rivalry between like these two players, but he just gave up. Like he don't even care anymore. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
I clearly have to step up to Nunez and I gotta just win a DLC now. That's the only option now, guys. Because
when was there a rivalry? Was it when I was topping every Star City games that you were holding my book bag at, or was it?
Wow. Clearly it was a one-sided thing, apparently.
Hey Keith, if you're watching, open up 2 more registration slots for next Saturday.
I'm glad I was pushing you to be better.
You weren't. No, but I think that it's one of those where like even if that's all your team is, right? Like if that is all we're doing here is just one-upping, and we're just like, I'm going to get the win today. For my, back in the day for World of Warcraft, what we played for, honestly, guys, shotgun. Okay? Drives. No kidding. Whoever did best on that day, they got shotgun on the drive home. Facts. Like, normally on the way there, it's whoever gets picked up first gets shotgun. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But the way home, shotgun was decided by who did best that day. Stupid competition, right? And listen, we can't bet in Disney Lorcana. Maybe sometimes there's like a dessert that's on the line somewhere, who knows?
Yeah.
Probably not, but probably. But like the idea that you have that, like, all right, you walk in, I know, right? You didn't play at SSG, but hey, Freddie won, right? Like you're like, all right, Freddie, I see you,
So actually
people at Disney World, all right, I see you.
Freddie, Monty, Praveen, and myself we actually had a we'll call it like a teammates agreement.
Yeah. It's not a bet. It's not a bet.
No, we it was a teammates agreement to see who could net the most set championship loot. And Freddie skunked me. I got to call it like that's part of the bet is I have to tell everybody that Freddie is a better player than I am. So
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew, but
Well, yeah, but the bet is I have to say it even though I don't agree with it. So there you go. Love you, Freddie.
It's fine. But yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with friendly competition, and especially if it just brings out the best of you, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm always in the front seat. I'm the star. So
that's not why he's in the front seat, guys. Networking and opportunities. This is something we kind of just talked about, but being a part of a team connects you with potential other opportunities, cheaper travel, sponsors, and even outlets for you to shine as a single competitor. At the end of the day, guys, we do play a game as one person. I sit down at the table, I play one other opponent. We are single competitors, but that doesn't mean that being a part of this team and growing connections, even if we talk about a sponsor, the SSG players are sponsored by SSG. That's great for them, right? They get to. Well, it's not close.
No, it was bad.
They get to. I don't know what the perks of SSG are, but let's just assume that hey, there's that 10 case event on March 8th that we talked about at the start of the show, and I bet you they're going to have every card they need. I bet you that they're going to have their 4 Tamatoas and their 4, coils and all that. I bet you they're going to have all the cards they need because they're a sponsored player for SSG, and SSG wants to win their own tournaments. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they want to win their own tournaments? So when you look at some of those things that can come from this, Dick Burns will tell you all about sponsors, guys. I mean, he knows he's got them all.
What's so funny is we're talking about, opening up sponsorship opportunities. How many people have offered me a sponsorship and I said, hey, do you want to just sponsor a Forbidden Mountain? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
They only want Dick. It's crazy.
One person. No, but it is. We'll give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. Right, we're sponsored by Heavy Play. This came because of the team being successful. It became not because I was necessarily successful, right? Like it came because Nunez is second place in an event. Ben day twoing multiple events. Colby day twoing multiple events, right? Like players on our team that are successful that we get to like fortunately report on and things like that. But that's one, right? Metafy again, like we talk about Metafy all the time. Like obviously for okay, I thought I did it again. My bad. Metafy came to us, right? Like we had a Patreon. We were good. We were content. Like, Metafy approached us and say like, no, dude, like you need to be on our platform. That's all because of those things. It's because of the team success and those are the opportunities that got brought to us. And that's just like honestly, the deal with Encounter, like we have this awesome, incredible partnership with the Encounter, and it's all because of that level of success from the team and things like that. So you never know what opportunity can be brought to you. And the other thing was the you guys are getting paid was
I get this so much.
being part of the team connects you with potential other opportunities. We just talked about Maelstrom, Kendall, Aaron. They were part of a great team. They're now part of another great team. Those are the things that can happen when you do connect with the right people and you vibe in the right way. So you never know what could happen from it ever.
A bigger thing on that was cheaper travel, which just got glossed over some. Dude, I mean, I went to Miami for Miami TCGCon by myself. I didn't know you and Scott, you guys are sitting on a couch. I had me, both my kids, and my wife in a hotel that I paid the full amount for.
Yeah.
And like, since I was in a hotel, I had to buy food. Like I couldn't, like when we go to DLCs, I spend $100 on food every single time we go, and we make half of our meals, and it's significantly cheaper. Ubers are split usually 4 ways, and we get like 2 to 3 of them, depending on how many deep we're rolling. Like everything is significantly cheaper. Like I drove to Miami TCGCon and then to Hartford. Like I had no one else to anything with. Like it's significantly cheaper to have a group of friends.
I feel like Bucky was a part of a conversation. That was good. That was good, Bucky. Yeah, traveling's expensive, guys. Find a friend. Find a friend. Seriously. Shared resources. This is kind of what we touched on a little bit earlier. Gabe already got us there, but access to better decks, coaching in quotation marks, and I'll clarify that in a moment here, but strategies that might not be available when playtesting alone. There are decks that get discovered in rooms with people, like it's not every day that someone just finds something on the internet and they make the best of it. It's not every day, specifically, like we talk about ladder play. This will be something we cover tomorrow in the event with Nunez. Like, ladder play, you don't get what DKP did in ladder play. Like if DKP was playing on ladder and everyone could find out his deck and figure it out, he might not have won DLC Melbourne, guys. Like he might not have been this crazy kept secret because it was discovered on a ladder. That might be the only way single players have the ability to play test. That's what they do. They go in, they play a million games. They're like, all right, this is the only way I can do this because I don't have anyone that I can trust anyway. So I'm just going to do with what I know. Those things are so much harder to find, but they're also, when you have a group of 32 Illuminatis in a house, just getting work done, that's how you win SSG in February. Like that's how those things happen.
Bingo. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now. They're just watching intently while they're jamming out set 7 right now with all their paper cutouts.
Paper cutout test cards, baby. Let's go. We're living life for the next 9 days, 7 days. I don't even know how many days, guys. It's math. All right. Why do we talk about math? Team spirit and camaraderie. Even in a game where you are playing as an individual, a team fosters a sense of belonging and shared success, making victories sweeter and losses easier to handle. We did cover these things a little bit earlier, but watching David Nunez go on a run all the way to the finals of DLC Toronto to this day is like still my favorite moment of Disney Lorcana. That was the only event that I dropped. I didn't even play round 9, guys. It's the only DLC that I dropped from the tournament. I'm just like, I didn't want to play round 9. It was still my favorite DLC because I got to sit and watch Nunes go on the run and potentially win a DLC. I mean, World's Invite standing. I wish he did, but that ability to get excited, just like living vicariously, is a big deal. It also really proves a sense of inclusion because, you know, we all worked on that deck. We got it. You know, we all had the night before Nunes sat with me at the kitchen table and we literally had the deck laid out. We had like an hour-long, 2-hour-long conversation about it. Spoilers, Nunes always gets in this stuff late, so it's not like he was there on Thursday and Friday with us because, like, we're the crazy people. Me and Dick will go out on a Wednesday night. We'll probably do mostly nothing on Thursday until more people get there, and then we play test for 2 days. Nunes is always the last person there, almost every single time. So he gets there 10 o'clock at night. We're sitting there till midnight just having the conversations. Like, those things are important for success as well, in a big way. Dick?
Yeah.
Me, I got nothing. Like, this is not we have to play one-on-one, but it's definitely much better as a team sport. Like, the professional athletes, even in one-on-one scenarios, have teams and coaches and stuff like that. Like, this is no different. Chess players, they have to play one-on-one. I guarantee you most of them have people that they work with. Look at like any like professional runner. They will hire pacers, right? It's the same thing. Like, hiring a coach in this to make sure that you're on your game is the same exact thing. Or having friends that you can trust to make sure you're on your game. Same thing as running a marathon with a pacer next to you.
Yeah.
Like, they can't physically push you, but
yeah, like I literally quotation mark coaching because, you know, let's just say I'm Amethyst Steel specialist on team, but Ben is Ruby Sapphire specialist. Like, if I got to learn how to play Ruby Sapphire in a day, like, I'm gonna be like, hey Ben, like, you're up the bat. Let's go. Let's have conversations, because that's like its own form of internal coaching, because you have those assignments. That also goes back to accountability. You know, like, if I say, I'm like, hey, this is your job for the week, and this is what you're volunteering to do. Well, you make sure you do it, because if I ask you questions at the end of the week and you don't have answers, we're gonna, you know, that's gonna, you don't want to have that conversation either, right? So that level of coaching is important. Like, just understanding how to mulligan, you know, like understanding the opening of a particular matchup. If someone had more time to you this week and they played, you know, 30, 40 more games than you, and they're able to say, hey guys, like, I figured this out. Like, I just figured out on turn 3, if we just don't play a 3-drop and we go 2-1, we're just like way better in position. Like, now they can't just answer. Same thing with Cinderella. Like, who was the first person to go, oh, you don't play in a turn 1 Cinderella, guys? That's dumb. You know what you do? You ink for turn, and then turn 2, you go, okay, 1-drop. Now deal with my Cinderella. Someone had to figure that out in a room. You know, like, it's just the truth. So it's things like that really go under the radar that we just miss, because A, you might not be on a team. You might not have a friend group that are taking the game at the same level as you are. And this is really just like, hey, these are all the benefits you can get from being on a team. We just went over them. And it was only 7. And that's honestly, like, that's being nice. I could have made it 15. But, you know, for us here, you've heard the story from all 3 of us at this point. Like, team's everything. It's so much more than just Disney Lorcana after a certain point. And, you know, like, we had multiple people that had kids this year, you know, like, how awesome it is to experience that with a teammate. You're like, oh man, that's great. Like, I get it. You know, we talked about having to walk away and step away for a couple months. Like, all right, Nate had a baby in November. Like, he didn't go to NACC. It's like, yeah, dude, you had a baby. like we get it.
You won't be married if you go to NAC, if you go to nationals.
So it is nice to, you know, just, I can't pressure it enough. There's people in your locals that are looking for this. Like, I guarantee you, there's people on a Discord, you know, like we talk about all the time, like even our Metafy Discord, like, it's a group of 20, 25 people that are all that like-minded goal. It's that same concept, but it's like, hey, you know, if you talk to people in that room and say, hey guys, like who's going to SSG Miami for the next one they announce in April, like, you know, because it's gonna happen, guys. We know it. Let's be honest. It's the worst kept secret.
I'll be there, but I'll be there even though it's not official. So I'll be there.
Right. It's gonna happen. But the point is, you're like, hey, I need 4 people to get into an Airbnb with, so I can make it cheaper. I think. I'm trying to remember the cost of our Airbnb for, what was it, 6 of us, 7 of us? Like, it was probably, I don't know, like 200, 300 people, probably like $200 a person. But if you got a hotel for 2 days, like that's $400 right there probably in Miami, you know? So getting this idea where you can get a nice room, probably have your own bed, probably not deal with annoying room service and all that crap, like finding people with like-minded attributes is like number one key. Like, just do your best. Like, be more active in the communities that you are. Like, whether it's in your card store, whether it's in your local Discord, you know, like whether it's in a community Discord, like even if it's like Lore 20 Pro, like I'm sure there's people in Lore 20 Pro that are like, hey, we're going to the next CCS. Like, can anyone want to get a room? Like, put yourself out there. It's kind of it's really what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to encourage, like, so I think one of the, you know, down here in South Florida, there's like a couple of key teams that kind of operate, right? There's the Illuminati, we've got Freedom Gaming, we've got SSG, and, you know, there's a bunch of free agents. So I call them mercenaries. And the one thing I'm always advocating to them, it's like they're looking to join a team, but I'm like, just start your own team. Like, don't try to jump on something else. We want there to be more teams. More teams is better. You know, more teams allows more information to flow through. It's more data. It helps all the teams together. So, like, if you're not finding a team that you're able to join for whatever reason, just start your own team. Just start your own team and get your friends together.
You be the guy on the Discord server going, hey, yeah, what are you doing? Like, how are you traveling? Like, where are you staying?
Yeah.
Like, ask the questions. Honestly, ask the questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like a team doesn't have to be like. When you start like Little League Baseball, your next thing isn't the World Series, you know, like a team can just be a group of people. You don't even have to have matching T-shirts. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just the people that in between rounds.
You want some guys, I know a guy. They're cheap. I promise you, they're very affordable.
It's just like a team could literally be the people that you want to meet up and talk to in between rounds and go to dinner with. It can like it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, a lot of people are very intimidated.
Yep.
People even say, like, to us at DLCs, like, man, I wanted to come up and talk. Like, people will message us. I wanted to come up and talk to you this weekend, but like, you were with your teammates. Like,
it'll be like one of the first comments on every YouTube video. It's like, oh, I really wanted to bro. Like, first of all, I mean, I just told you, like, 2 of my teammates, the first game they've ever played. You know, like they never played another game before. Like, this isn't like some, oh my God, I'm signing people to contracts team, right? Like, it's just, that's not what this is. It very much is to me. Like, my favorite thing at Disney Lorcana challenges are the dinner we go to after the event's over. Like, if I can't sit down and have dinner with you, I don't want to be near you anyway. You know, so like, if that's honestly almost my level. It's just like, can we get along? Can I rely on you when it's important? But when it's not important, can we just go talk about Neopets? Right. I can't believe I just said that, but I did just to make Ben smile. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
literally, think about this. I went to Disneyland with people that I had never met in my life. Like, I passed up opportunities as a kid to go to Disney World with my own family, but I went to Disneyland with people I had met months ago. I'm just saying, like, Disney Lorcana has been a true blessing, in all honesty. The team has been great. I look forward to next week, right? Like, we obviously had SSG last month, and that was a lot of fun. But these team streams, these team weekends we've been doing for the encounter, they're so much fun for me. You know, like, we just get an Airbnb. Like, I live 90 minutes from the encounter, but I still go and stay in the Airbnb with the team because it's like, yeah, man, it's a weekend with the team. Like, I'm not going to pass that up. So, I really want more people to have that. I want more people to understand what the team for Team TFM has done for me over the last year. So that's why it just felt like a good time to have another one of these segments. I feel like we do these every 6 months, if I'm being honest, but it did feel like a good time to have it.
I'm glad to have been here for it. Like, this is such, like, it's funny because, like, this is a subject that is pretty close to my heart. So I love being able to be here for it too. So thank you for sharing that moment with me.